Happy Wednesday! Today we are headed to Tallahassee for a reptile show and I cannot wait to show it off to you guys. Welcome to the herd! While long, our drive to Tallahassee was really beautiful. The weather was absolutely stunning and we saw so many farm animals and wildlife. Even a raccoon that was hanging out at the side of the road and a bunch of turkeys. Of course, we had to stop at Eliano's for some breakfast. Mine being a berry blast smoothie. Eliano's is one of my favorite places to get something fruity and healthy in order to get my day started. The rest of the drive went fantastically, and then we arrived at the reptile show. I must say that I am quite disappointed with the Tallahassee ReptiDay show. There were probably 5 vendors. Maybe 5. I saw some really incredible species that I had never seen before, but other than that, I was kind of left wanting. I love to go to the shows and interact with different vendors as well as do kind of different things other than just shop. And there really wasn't that opportunity here. Maybe it was because it was only a one-day show and it wasn't super big, but I kind of thought that being in the state capital of Florida, that there would be a lot more going on. In fact, the bird show next door looked like it was having an absolute party. As you can see here, though, they had some really incredible leopard geckos, and I even saw some sand boas and some Florida native species that you could take as a pet, like the Florida king. So, with the lack of animals to go look at, we decided to do some shopping. First, of course, you have to pick out some cork bark. My pythons absolutely love cork bark. They definitely choose that over any other types of hides that I put into their enclosure. I was really excited by the different fake plants and water features that they had available for purchase, including plants that you could magnetize to the side of your habitat, and a lot of cool water drip and waterfall features that I had never seen before. I picked out several of the plants that you can magnetize or put against the side of the terrarium in order to give my big male ball python Targaryen some kind of features that he can climb on top of and really explore the full dimensions of his tank. So that was a lot of fun. I'm also really addicted to shopping, so any opportunity that I can get to kind of browse and look at all kinds of new things is always a fun opportunity for me, as you can see here. The last item that I found and was really excited about was this tree branch. It has a suction cup so it can stick to the side of the terrarium, and it was big enough to hold my hefty male ball python Targaryen. If we have a long road trip, I like to visit some of the local attractions that we can see. Welcome to Goodwood Plantation and Mansion. Goodwood was a plantation granted to the Marquis de Lafayette in thanks for his contributions in the American Revolutionary War. You may have seen Lafayette as a character in the Broadway musical Hamilton. While he never visited the land, in 1834, the Croom family bought over 2,000 acres of the land and turned it into a corn and cotton plantation. It is important to note that the Croom family of North Carolina brought with them 60 enslaved people. By the late 1850s, there were over 200 slaves on the plantation. There currently is no recognition of the people forced to work on this plantation on the grounds, but according to the map, there are plans to build a future site acknowledging the slave history of this land. Goodwood is home to many beautiful gardens and historic buildings. You can take a guided tour inside the house for $12 or walk the grounds of the plantation on your own for free. There are several historical signs that provide a rich history of the plantation and its many owners. Make sure to check out the Sunken Garden, the Carriage House, the Jubilee Oak, the skating rink, the reflecting pool, and the humorous sign outside the Rough House. Targaryen's tank. You can see him just there. Hey, buddy. So this is Targaryen's tank, and I got 3 new features for him at the little ReptiDay in Tallahassee. One was this cork bark tile to go on the back of the exhibit. I didn't know if it was going to fit or not, and it fits absolutely perfectly. So I'm very excited about that. I would like to get some more pieces for the rest of the back. But just got one for today to see how it would fit and work out. It looks really great. So now I just have to see, is the back gonna mold? Because the back looked a little iffy. And so I'm a little worried about it retaining moisture and molding, but we'll see. Molding? Getting mold. So we'll see how that goes. Another thing that he got today is this cute little like tree branch. It is stuck on with a suction cup from Zilla. I don't know if he's going to use it or not, but supposedly there have been some people who have found that their male ball pythons can be very arboreal. So I've been trying to get him some new stuff that he can climb on top of if he wants to, especially at night under the cover of darkness. So we'll see if he wants to get up there. I may put it down even lower and try to get him used to it and then have him come up and see if he likes it. But we'll see in the meantime. Check out his little air plants that he has. I got those for him about a month ago. And they've been thriving. They've been doing pretty well, I think. Yeah, they've been doing okay. I'm not very good with plants. So I'm not really sure what I'm looking at exactly. I'd like to get little tiny pots and hang them from the top of his enclosure. But as of right now, there are 2 that sit in little tiny cups, and then there's one that sits in his cork bark, which is super cool to me. It looks really natural with his moss and stuff. Anyway, there's his little Pokeball hide. And then this is the third thing. So this is just a fake plant. I liked that I could put it up high. It does have a magnet back. It does have a magnet back, and so I like that I could put it up there. I've been looking for more stuff to kind of utilize the height of his enclosure. It has bendable leaves, so I can put these in kind of any shape or position that I want to. I just thought that it looked really pretty and natural. It gave me even more green than he already has, which I was excited about. And I really like to utilize things that are meant for like frogs and geckos and things that climb a bunch and have sticky feet. I like to utilize those just to make his exhibit really splashy and cool looking in an effort to just like provide more greenery and kind of enclose the space in and really get to utilize all of the sides that I have available to me. Like with his dragons. He's got dragons. Since he is named Targaryen for House Targaryen from Game of Thrones, he's got dragons on his doors. So we try to utilize as much space as possible for him because he's got a really cool enclosure set up. How's your buddy? Hi. Good evening. How are you? I hope you like your new stuff and you go exploring. I've had him for over a year now. He just turned 3 years old. I've had him for over a year now. And so that means that he has a lot more hideys and things like that that have really stacked up, and he's gotten to use. This is actually the 3rd exhibit that I've gotten for him. He came to me from a friend in a giant tub that didn't keep the humidity in well. It didn't keep the heat in well. Then I went to a 55-gallon glass aquarium that was really meant for fish. It was too tall. It was long, but it was too tall, and so it was still difficult to keep it was super difficult to keep the humidity in. And now he's in this enclosure, and I honestly don't know off the top of my head what the dimensions are or what the gallons is, but he does really well in here. He's eaten well in here. He's shed well in here. It's so much easier to keep up the humidity and stuff. So I hope he likes his new finds. I think they're pretty cool. I'm gonna give it a spritz down to raise up the humidity in here, and then yeah, had a pretty good day at Repticon, buddy. All right. Say bye. So this is Vesuvius's setup. Actually, except that his vine goes inside. I kind of pushed everything over to the side to make room. So he already has a cork bark hide. And then I got him another one today at the Tallahassee ReptiDay. It's a nice, huge, big piece that he can curl up underneath. I just think it's nice and roomy, and I love cork bark so much because it doesn't mold. And so I have found that with the tub systems, which I know not everybody agrees is the best thing, but with the tub systems, it stays so much more humid in here. It's so much nicer to take care of the humidity in here that things get moldy super fast. So there are things that I can put in Targaryen's very large display enclosure that I cannot put in here because of how quickly it will mold. And cork bark is mold resistant, which is really, really amazing. So yeah, I'm just gonna add, where exactly do I wanna put it? I'm gonna put some of his moss over here. And then I guess I'll cover up his hide like that. No, I'm gonna put it, I may take out this piece for a little bit and give this piece a break. This piece is really cool too, because it's kind of like a tunnel, but kind of not. So we'll take out that piece for a little while. And we'll put this piece in here on his water dish, and then I bet I can fit this piece nice. Yeah, so we'll move some moss over here, and we'll stick some moss under there so he's got something nice and soft. And I just put in some new Reptibark. I love Reptibark. I used to use the coconut husks, which was also really great, except that Targaryen would wheeze a lot. And so I freaked out for a really long time thinking that he had a respiratory infection, and I researched everything. I watched all these videos. I was like prying open his mouth, looking for bubbles. We can talk about that in another video. I finally took him to the vet and was freaking out going, please save my snake. I know he's going to die of a respiratory infection. I'm terrified. Like, what's going on with him? And the vet couldn't find anything wrong with him. She's like, we don't know what this is. He seems totally fine. If you say that he's eating well and he's shedding well and there are no bubbles, there's no extra saliva in his mouth, we don't know what's wrong with him. The 2 days later, I decided to change his bedding from the coconut fiber to the Reptibark because Reptibark holds more humidity, and I've had some issues getting humidity just right. I changed to Reptibark, no more wheezing. So I don't know if he was allergic to coconut. I don't know if the coconut dust was bothering him. I don't know if, he was somehow getting it in his mouth or around his nose. But for whatever it was definitely bothering him, and we have not had a wheezing Targaryen since. So I'm very excited about that. I think this will sit just nicely right here. There. Perfect. Yeah, that'll sit nicely right there. So now he's got his little Aztec hidey. He's got cork bark here. He's got cork bark here. And then he's got his cold side hidey, which he's actually in there somewhere. I'm not going to disturb him, but he's in there somewhere. We'll put his vine back in here. So he's got his lovely little vine. There we go. I like a very cluttered, natural look for my tubs. In fact, if you do want to see him, this is his exhibit sign. He is my Vessi or Vessi pretzel, because as you can see, he is always in a pretzel shape. It is hilarious. He will tie himself up in a knot like that almost all the time. So I call him Vessi Pretzel. Honestly, if I hadn't come up with the name Vesuvius, I would have named him Pretzel because he is my little pretzel ball. And he is a Russo clown. I named him Vesuvius because his back. particular looks like molten lava, especially when he's slithering around. It looks like molten lava slithering around. And these amazing wooden signs are made by My Exotics, I think is how you're supposed to say it. I'll put a link in the description. It is a wonderful little shop in England that I found on Etsy that makes really cool reptile display products. I have 3 of these. I'm about to get a 4th one for Thistle. I absolutely love these. I may even get one for my guinea pigs and get one for the guinea pigs. They are absolutely beautifully constructed signs. They look like they belong in a zoo. And they just, and that is an actual picture of Vesuvius that she used to put on the sign. And then like my hand was actually underneath him. She photoshopped my hand out. And I have 3 of these. You can get it in all different kinds of fonts. You can put whatever you want to on the side. You can have it with a map or without a map of their natural region. And you can get it in all sorts of different colors. For instance, this is Hestia's. And so you can't see it very well in this lighting, but she's actually got pink font for her name. And that is an actual picture of her. And as you can see, her information is a little bit different. She doesn't have the nicknames and stuff. And it's just, I mean, it's such a beautifully made sign. And if you get yourself some command strips, you just pop it right on. It is absolutely fantastic. She does a wonderful job. She shows you the mock-up before she makes the sign, so you have complete creative control on what it looks like. And I highly, highly recommend visiting her shop over at Etsy. She does not sponsor this video. She does not, she doesn't even know that I'm doing this. Absolutely wonderful person to work with. If you want your exhibits or your racks or your tubs or your tanks or whatever to look absolutely stunning, definitely go check her out and pick up an exhibit sign. You will not regret it. After I put Vesuvius away, I looked over and saw that Targaryen was exploring his new habitat features. It was so exciting to see him out and about and checking out these items, especially because usually I'm already asleep by the time that he decides to come out and check out these things. He put himself up on the big giant tree branch and slithered around. Then he went and checked out the cork bark tile. And then eventually he ended up over at the vine with the magnet on the back. He particularly really liked the vine with the magnet on the back and spent a lot of time going through the leaves and really exploring it, getting on top of it and hanging out. Finally, I get to see him being the arboreal snake that he can be. So I'm super excited that these new products worked. While it was a very small show, I did find some really amazing things at the Tallahassee ReptiDay Repticon event. So I am very happy that I went. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this trip, and see you next Wednesday.